Hey, Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club members, are you ready to take your crypto game to the next level? Well, buckle up because we've got something huge for you. As a member of the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you're already part of the future of finance. But what if you could stack even more Bitcoin without waiting? That's right. We're talking about exclusive loans designed just for you. Through the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you can apply for a fast member-only loan. Use the cash to buy Bitcoin right now while the market's hot, and watch your stack grow as the revolution unfolds. It's simple. Call us, get approved, and turn that loan into Bitcoin. Pay it back on your terms while you HODL like a pro. Why wait for the moon when you can fuel the rocket yourself? This isn't just a loan, it's your ticket to owning more of the future. And because you're part of our tight-knit community, you get VIP access to rates and support outsiders can only dream of. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your phone and call or text 941-413-6920 to apply now and start stacking SATs today. The Bitcoin revolution waits for no one, especially not you. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where members don't just HODL, we build. See you on the blockchain.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben. Here for the daily. What in the hell is going on in cryptocurrencies and the world? Guys and gals, we're entering into a whole new structure of, I guess, the whole world, because this is nothing like we've ever seen prior to this. Through the ages, we have needed, and I use that very loosely, needed government for a ledger. That's what the government originally was the ledger of ownership. And now, over the last 100, 125, 150 years, we've had a progressive government. And a progressive government is just a slow-moving communist government. That's what the progressives are. They are slow-moving communist. And now that the progressive era is ending, we are moving into, because of technology, because of advancement in ledger technology and ownership representation technology, we're moving into a world where we no longer need a ledger ran by the government. We no longer need a currency ran by the government. Now, mind you, this is a process. This is weaning ourselves off of 100 and whatever 15 years or 12 years, 112 years of a Federal Reserve. We have to wean ourselves off of the poison, the drug of the fiat currency. And that's what Trump is actually doing. He has said it in the past. He's replacing the Federal Reserve with the U.S. Treasury Department, which is how, if you're going to have a federal government, the currency should be out of the reserve, the Treasury Department, and it should be backed with a reserve asset. Now, I'm not saying I am pro-U.S. dollar. I'm not. And I am not pro-U.S. tokenized dollar. I'm not. But that's the transition unit. That's the unit of exchange that will be used until we reach a point where everyone can just actually deal in Bitcoin. This is us using the global reserve currency as long as we have it, because it isn't a reserve currency. What it is it's the most used currency, right? No one's holding it in reserves as a store of value. No, they hold it in reserves so they can use it. And that isn't even really the dollar, it's the treasury bonds. That's what governments hold, is the U.S. Treasury bond. Well, for 113 years or whatever the fuck it is, we have had our treasury bonds that we sell to the Federal Reserve. Then the Federal Reserve prints up money and sends it out and la 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 la. And then the federal government, i.e. us, who pays for the federal government? We do. So basically, they created the Federal Reserve. So remember, the Federal Reserve is plank number 4 or number 5 in the Communist Manifesto. That's what the Federal Reserve is it's a communist plank, which means this is what we need to achieve communism. These 10 planks. And number 4 or number 5 is centralized banking, centralized credit. Oh, wait, you mean that the first progressive president, Woodrow Wilson, created a progressive instrument to lead the U.S. into communism? No. Yeah, folks. All right, unfortunately, using war and using market crashes in 1929, they have scared or killed American citizens to achieve their monetary control structure. That's what the Federal Reserve is. That's what the World Bank is. That's what the International Monetary Fund is. It is a communistic global structure. That's it. There is no argument. It isn't like you can say, no, it's not. Okay, well, if it isn't a communistic global structure, what is it? If you can't answer what it is that isn't communistic global structure, then it's a communistic global structure. That's what it is. That's what globalism is. See, socialism is for countries that lead to communism, which is global. Folks, we've been lied to for a long time. And it wasn't our fault. They created the central bank. They created the Federal Reserve. Gee, isn't it odd? Right after they created the Federal Reserve, all of a sudden, holy shit, we got to have a world war. Thank God we can print up a bunch of money. Then after World War I, the war to end all wars, they said, hold up a second. That worked like a fucking charm. Hell with it. Let's do another one. Let's have World War II. And then, let's have the Korean War. Then let's have the Vietnam War. Then let's have Afghanistan and Iraq. Let's have all these wars because that's what we have to spread freedom, also known as the U.S. dollar. you know, ran through the Federal Reserve. See, the problem is we listen to liars. We know the whole system is a lie. The foundation of the system is a lie. It's all a lie. Because think about this. Do you know all of the laws that supposedly you're living under? Do you know all of them? Do you know exactly what all of the regulations are that you live under? No. Then the goal isn't a harmonious society, it's a controlled society. Rules and regulations are just tools to socially and economically engineer the society. That's it. Laws are just weapons used at their discretion. Ever heard of prosecutorial discretion? Well, wait, if it's a law, how the hell do you have discretion? Oh, well, because it's a weapon. And that's the system we've lived under, where if you get out of line, don't worry, we'll find it. Look at the SEC for the last 8 years, or hell, longer than that. If, don't worry, we will find what you did wrong. Hell, literally for the last 4 or 5 years, if you went to the SEC for any type of guidance, if you're a crypto or whatever person or corporation, they wouldn't give you the rules. They would just prosecute you. Well, number one, how are you prosecuting me when there aren't any regulations? What regulations am I breaking if there are no regulations? See, this is why we have to stand up and say, fuck you. How do you win an argument with a liar? You don't. You know why? Because they aren't tethered to the truth. So you don't win an argument with a liar. How you win is you don't argue with the liar. You just ignore the liar. Hey, we have let our America, our country, and yes, the rest of the world is not very good either. But to tell you the truth, right now, I don't give a flying fuck about the rest of the world. I care about America. And getting America, hey, how about we get it back to where it used to be? Where the government was completely focused on protecting our rights as individuals, and the individuals were at the center of the country. The reason we have America is because the people who are citizens in America, legal Americans. Everyone else, I'm sorry for you, but I don't give a flying fuck about you. Because I can't care about everybody. I love everybody, but fix your own shit. We gotta fix our shit. And that's what Trump, and I'm not saying Trump is perfect, not at all. But I think he's moving in the right direction. See, I think that Trump has a similar philosophy to Andrew Jackson. A government about that fucking big. The rest, just leave it up to the people. Leave it up to the people. See, the little secret is the reason there's so many laws and regulations, because if it's not against the law, you can do it. See, that has actually been my argument with the SEC for years. They will go after people for failure to register. Fuck you, I got free speech. I don't have to register with anybody. Fuck you and the horse you fucking rode in on. This is the whole problem. They want you to ask permission to do anything. Well, here, run it by us and we'll let you know if it's okay. Go fuck yourself. This is how it should be, folks. If you want to be, hang on, what? Oh, I got a piece of fuzz. I love this hat, so I don't want to have fuzz on it. Hang on a second. My locks of hair. Oh, there we go. Look at that head. That's a sexy melon right there. The reason that we're in so much horse shit is that people shifted how they thought. Now, if you want to do something, the first thing you think of is, who do I have to register with? Who do I need approval for this? Yeah, that's a fucked up system, folks. And we have to fight to get it back. We have to literally, we have to fight for it. Now, I'm not talking swinging hands and shit like that, but we have to fight for it. And we will, and we do. Because what we're going to have to start doing is suing these governments. Suing them actually based on common law, not their horseshit statutory law, which is completely unconstitutional. Common law, the people's law. That's where this all rests. Initially, we had the Magna Carta. Then we had the actual Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Now we have to basically ignore our way to freedom. That's the key, folks. You have to ignore your way to freedom. And if you have to play inside the system and you have to jump through a few hoops, jump through those hoops. And then after you jump through the hoops, you sue the motherfuckers. Because then you have cause. See, it's all a war for freedom. The progressive movement, the governments, they don't want you to think that you're free. They want your initial response to actually be, better check with the government, better see if I'm on good grounds with the government. No, fuck them. Because we don't need governments at all. Now, let me rephrase it. We don't need large government. What we need is local control. And I mean city, county kind of control. Anything larger than a county is getting a little bit too big for me. Because what is Illinois? What is Missouri? It's a group of cultures. You look at St. Louis, Missouri, there's a culture. You look at North St. Louis, there's a culture. You look at South St. Louis, there's a culture. You look at Chicago, you look at South Chicago, you look at North Chicago, two different cultures. It's all cultural. All right, that's my rant for a little bit. Now let's jump into what's going on with Trump. Okay, the federal government now owns 10% of Intel. Right? Intel is a microchip processing producer. Microchip and processor producer. The federal government now owns 10% of that. Is that good? Fuck no, it ain't good. But what's the reason he's doing it? Because what he is doing is he's actually pulling a Roosevelt. Right? Roosevelt had something called the New Deal. All right? That's where they created all of these government agencies. And just, they created so many agencies, it's crazy, which gave the federal government more power. What is Trump doing? Trump is actually giving money to American-owned companies to compete with China. That's what Trump is doing. So instead of the Roosevelt technique of grow the government, Trump is reversing that and saying, no, I will grow Intel. Intel is a publicly held company. And have you seen what the shares have actually done with Intel since the federal government said they're going to own 10% of it? It's gone up, folks. Why? Because what is your biggest worry when you are buying shares of any company? Who else owns it? And is it backed? Is it going to fail? Not if the government owns it. Now, I'm not saying this is good. If it was me, wouldn't be my choice. But if you're going to increase the size of something, I would much rather you increase the private sector than the government, because the private sector has to live and die on competition. And this brings me to mining. Mining of the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin. The Bitcoin will be mined. Remember, Trump said last year, I want every single friggin' Bitcoin mined in America. I want every single Bitcoin to say, made in America. Now, that's a Trumpism, right? Of course, he's loud and he's bombastic. Or how do you say that, bombastic? You know what the fuck I mean. All right, the point is Trump wants, because remember what he's doing. He's slowly removing the U.S. as the reserve currency of the world. he still wants it as the most used currency in the world. There's a difference between most used and reserve currency. Two different things. Now, Trump, and guys, I know this for a fact, Trump is looking at the Bitcoin as the perfect entity to bring America back, to make us wealthy. Remember, Trump said that the Bitcoin is the new oil. Huh? What does he mean by that? What does he mean that the Bitcoin is the new oil? Remember the petrodollar? Right, the petrodollar. That's what this is going. This is where this is all leading. The new stable coins that Trump is allowing out there, let's just call those the bit dollars. Just like the petrodollars, except these are the bit dollars. And he's transitioning into a reserve system where the Bitcoin and gold and oil that the U.S. holds is the backing for the treasuries of the bit dollar, just like oil was with the petrodollar. And what he's doing now is he has signed this legislation so he can temporarily implement all of these stable coins all over the world. Because remember, usage is the key. He already has the US dollar usage network. All he has to do is replace the foundation of what actually backs it. That's what he's replacing. He is replacing through tariffs and eventually through Bitcoin mining. Guys, I'm telling you, I've said this before. We've all heard of universal basic income. Yes, universal basic income. What Trump is moving towards is universal Bitcoin income. This is the long game, folks. Because what Trump is going to do, and I don't remember who said it this morning, but I wish I could remember which guy it was. But he basically said, if you're a company in America, if you're a large industry or you're launching a large company in America, why don't you give us a call? Why don't you give us a call here at the federal government? And maybe we can help you with land or capital. See, this is the reverse of the Roosevelt era. Like I said, Roosevelt, what he did was he grew the government using the Federal Reserve money. What is Trump doing? Trump is growing the private sector using the Federal Reserve money. He is going to use the dollar until there ain't a drop of credibility left. Notice I said credibility and not value. Because the Federal Reserve is about this fucking close to losing credibility. Notice Trump announced yesterday today he's going to fire the one gal at the Federal Reserve. And what's her response? Well, you can't fire me. I work at the Federal Reserve. Really? Well, let's see. You know what you don't own, Federal Reserve? You don't own the land that your Federal Reserve's offices are on. That's right, it's under a charter. So who has authority over the land that your private corporation resides? That would be the federal government. So Trump can basically foreclose on your land. Why do you think Trump went to the new buildings that they're building? Nice building you got here. You're putting it on my land, you know that, right? You're putting it on the federal government land because this land is only titled to you under the federal government. See, Trump doesn't really care if she thinks she can be fired because Trump knows he can arrest her because she broke the law. I know laws. I'm not a big fan of them, but fuck it. It is what it is. This is how we take America back. See, I don't care how Trump gets rid of the Federal Reserve. And I don't care how the people that work at the Federal Reserve feel about it. No care. I have no empathy or sympathy for anyone who works at the Federal Reserve. You know why? Because your organization is evil and corrupt from the concept. The concept of your organization is corrupt and evil. Sorry for you. You want to have a great country? You have to have the Federal Reserve moved or getting rid of. And that's where this is all going, guys. You have to look at the long game. Remember, each one of these are a football game in a season. You don't win the Super Bowl if you just win one game. You have to continuously win game after game after game after game, and that leads to the Super Bowl. We're in the process of, and I'm not saying that in 4 or 6 or 8 years that America is going to be perfect. No, the progressives are definitely going to put up a fight because they have enslaved us and had us as slaves for 125 years, folks, ever since the Civil War. Because remember what I say, the Civil War didn't free anybody. It actually made us all slaves. And now it's going to take a few years to unwind. And yes, there will be progressives. There will be politicians. There will be others arrested for it because this has been a 125-year plan, folks. And Trump ain't playing. Trump is not just here to have a good 4 years. No. Trump is here to kick some fucking doors in and say, you've been right. And we should all actually be cheering him on because who's he taking on? He's taking on the system that has screwed you, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother. This the system that has screwed your whole family generationally, and the guy who's going in to take the system down, we have dipshits like, well, he's a Republican and I'm a Democrat. I don't care if he does make Chicago safe. I would rather Chicago be a fucking murder capital than have Trump come in here and make it safe. Why is Chicago a shithole? Because of the leadership of Chicago. Because they're progressives. Progressives, they have no floor. Let me explain that. Progressives and liberals live and survive on this I'm a victim mentality. Okay? Well, if you're a victim, what happens if there's someone who's more victim-y than you are? That's why they always bring in the complete retards of society, and that's why the retards, whatever you call it, transgendered or whatever, why did they run towards the progressives? Why did the progressives, the Democrats, say, oh, you gender confused fucks, come over here. You can join our team. Why? Because they have no floor. Why do you think, and this is not me saying it, this is proven, this is documented, the Democratic Party has a group that they protect of pedophiles. You know why? Because you, as a liberal, as a progressive, as a Democrat, you are the party of the quote-unquote victims. And if you're a victim, you can never tell someone else they're not a victim. You see what I'm saying? If your claim is victimhood, if some transgendered fucking midget walks up and says, I have midget transgendered rights, you can't say no. Or if someone says, I should be able to marry my dog, you can't say no because they're a minority too. If your whole shtick is I'm a minority, then you can never reject anyone else's claim of a minority. You can never have a floor. And that's literally, the Democrat Party is the island of misfit toys from that fucking Christmas cartoon years ago. That's the Democrat Party. It's all of someone, anybody. It doesn't matter if your identity is a victim, you're a Democrat. You're a progressive. You're a liberal. Because you spend your life worried or thinking that someone's trying to bring you down. Someone is trying to hold you down. When in reality, nobody gives a flying fuck about you. When I was younger, right, let me tell you, my mom, she ran a grooming shop for dogs, all right? And for those of you who know anything about grooming dogs and dog shows and shit like that, you can't throw a rock without hitting a gay guy, all right? A lot of gay people in the dog grooming industry. I grew up around a lot of gay guys. None of them were weird. I mean, they didn't try and like touch me or nothing like that. But no one cared. No one gave a shit they were gay. This whole idea of like, oh, you're gay? Oh, man, I'm going to put you on my hate list. Hang on a second. Oh, what's your name again? No one gives a shit that you're gay. No one gives a shit that you're black. No one gives a shit. You know why? Because they got too much shit on their own going on. I guarantee there's no one who wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what? How am I going to hold down the black man today? That's my goal. Going to hold me down, a lesbian. No, it's an illusion that is generated from the Progressive Party, because the Progressive Party is the party of identity politics. See, look at that. Just listen to it. The identity politics. Why? Why is it identity? You would think that your politics would be based on principles, ideas, not identity. Why would a political party want to rely on identity politics and not ideas? Because your goal isn't the improvement of the environment for the people. It's the control of the people. Because as soon as we no longer identify as Americans and we identify as African Americans, Irish Americans, Jewish Americans, Black Americans, white Americans, once they separate us into an identity, well, I'm an LGBHQ double Z minus 4 add 3 American. No, you're just an American. No. My identity is I'm gay. Well, what? That doesn't make any sense. How about you're just a human? You're just an American. And that's the poison of the progressive system, is it poisons the mind of the people. And what's at the core of this? What's at the heart? Why am I sitting here doing this rant? Because the Federal Reserve System, the global system, the global monetary system is the bloodline for the Satan that is the progressive movement. Because it's what moves monetary value around the world. And if you can, just like Rothschild said, I care not who writes the laws as long as I control the money. Bingo. The Federal Reserve. Number one, they call themselves federal. Well, if Trump can't fire her, is she federal? Is the Federal Reserve really federal? No. And what is their reserve? Their reserve is credit, which is not a reserve. Trump is exposing the chink in the armor of the Federal Reserve, the weak underbelly of it. is that it's all a lie. The Federal Reserve is not federal and it ain't got no fucking reserves. And Trump's exposing this. This is a process, folks. This is a process. We're moving in the right direction. Is Trump using all of the ethical tools I feel he should? No. Am I him? Nope. So I'm just going to deal with what the fuck happens. Guys and gals, what I care about is we're getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Oh, yeah. Because, people have asked, hey, Ben, how do you know that we're getting rid of the Federal Reserve? Who told you that? Guys, look at the Genius Bill. It allows companies and banks to issue stable coins. But they have to hold treasuries to do it. Those treasuries have a 0% coupon on them. That means the federal government, by issuing the bonds, they pay 0 in interest on the bonds. The interest is the federal government allowing you to issue the stable coins. That's your interest. So the federal government is issuing billions, trillions in new treasury bonds. And those treasury bonds will be held by Walmart. They'll be held by Bank of America. They will be held by countries outside of the U.S. So what's our biggest problem? Is our debt, right? 37 trillion or whatever the hell we're up to now. Well, the real problem with the debt is the interest. What happens if the federal government can reissue the treasury debt with 0%? Guess what? The Federal Reserve the Treasury Department will not sell its bonds to the Federal Reserve. Why would you? Why would you sell your bond to the Federal Reserve at 4.25% when you could sell your bonds to Bank of America or the private key capital in El Salvador? And they issue stable coins at 0% interest. So would you rather pay 4.25% or whatever it is, 4.5% or whatever, or would you rather pay 0% interest? I think the Treasury Department would rather pay 0% interest. And that's how you get rid of the Federal Reserve. You remove its monopoly on the creation of dollars. Because if Walmart issues Wally coin, Walmart just replaced the Federal Reserve. It's the same thing. Walmart is actually buying treasury bonds and issuing Wally coin. Same job as the Federal Reserve. If Amazon, watch for this, guys, if Amazon wants to issue AmiCoin or Zon or whatever the hell they name it, coin, and it's a stable coin in the Amazon platform that is actually backed up with treasuries. You know how much money Amazon's going to save just in transaction fees from credit cards and all this other bullshit? A shit ton. So yes, Amazon will buy treasury bonds and there will be 0% return on those treasury bonds. But Amazon can offer an interest rate, listen to me folks, an interest rate if you hold a bunch of Amazon coins in your Amazon wallet, on your Amazon app. Everyone has been sitting here wondering, hey, when is Amazon going to accept Bitcoin? Guys, it ain't when Amazon accepts Bitcoin. Wait till Amazon sells Bitcoin, where you can go on your Amazon app and you can purchase some Bitcoin. And then Amazon can offer you a Bitcoin sale. On these, on Prime Day, if you shop with your Bitcoin, you get 50% off. Folks, remember Sheetz gas station? They offered 50% off if you paid in Bitcoin. Amazon's going to do that too. Why? Because the federal government is holding the Bitcoin as a reserve, which means it qualifies under legal definition as a reserve asset. So then if Walmart collects a bunch of Bitcoin, guess what? They can issue more of their stable coins based on their holdings of Bitcoin, because the federal government has legally labeled it a reserve asset. Guys, gals, shit's about to go crazy. And the mining, and don't think I'm not going to jump in on this. I've already told you guys I'm going to open a mining facility next year, mid-year. Yes, there will be Bitcoin Ben mining. And guess who Bitcoin Ben is going to partner with? Trump. You're damn right. You know why? Because I can get the land for 100-year lease for like $1. I can get 0% interest loans from the federal government because what am I producing? Think about it, folks. A strategic reserve asset. Wait a second. So Bitcoin mining will be just like oil production. See, folks? When you produce the commodity that is held as a reserve asset for the federal government, guess what the federal government wants you to do? Wants you to produce more of that reserve asset. And guess who's going to get on that bandwagon? I am bringing a banjo, and I'm going to be playing on that bandwagon the whole way. Because it makes sense, folks. Follow the yellow brick road and the Trump breadcrumbs. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm going balls deep into Bitcoin mining. It's why we offer our mining products here at our club for our members. Because the goal is, see, right now, this is all a show. Everyone's like, oh, the price dipped to 110. Oh my God. Everyone's looking at dollar value. Folks, that's going to shift. And for some of us, I don't give a fuck how much dollar value the Bitcoin I have is worth. You know what I want? I want more Bitcoin. I don't want more dollars. It doesn't mean that the dollars have gotten more valuable. It means they've gotten less valuable. Your goal should be accumulating, working for more Bitcoin. And with our mining programs, we can take your worthless fiat, turn it into Bitcoin, roll that into mining, and produce more Bitcoin. That's the goal. Get more Bitcoin. It isn't get more dollars. Right? All of these retarded motherfuckers who are like, don't forget to take profit. Take profit? Are you fucking retarded? Why would you sell the best money in the world for somebody's pieces of fucking paper? Shit, I'll give you some paper. If you want to sell your Bitcoin, give me a call. I'll go print up a bunch of paper. How much you want? What? I'll tell you what, I'll give you 1 million Bitcoin Ben paper dollars for that Bitcoin. Oh, it'll be worth 1 million Bitcoin Ben dollars. Oh, come get you Bitcoin Ben. I will print the shit out of Bitcoin Ben dollars for all the Bitcoin I can get. All right. I'm going to say this as a joke, but I mean it a little. Those who sell for profit are also the people that don't believe that foreplay is part of sex. They get in, they get out. That's it. This is the problem. They're looking short term. They're like, oh, look, I sold my half of Bitcoin and I got $60,000. Oh, good for you, because in another year, that $60,000 is going to buy you $50,000. Well, I'm going to take that $60,000. I'm going to go buy a Lambo. Not that Lambos are $60,000, but you get my fucking point. Oh, so you're going to sell an appreciating asset to get dollars so you can go buy. You're going to sell an appreciating asset so you can go and buy a depreciating asset. Okay. That's stupid, people, folks. You don't want more dollars, you want more Bitcoin. Because it is an appreciating asset. And I don't even mean appreciating in dollar value. It's appreciating in the network value. More and more companies are accepting Bitcoin. The federal government wants Bitcoin. Like I've said in the past, why do you value the dollars when the federal government doesn't hold dollars in a reserve? Wait a second. The federal government holds gold, oil, and Bitcoin, and corn and wheat, and a few other reserves. Why aren't they holding dollars? Why doesn't the Federal Reserve just print up a bunch of dollars and put them in the U.S. Treasury Reserve and say, we have $100 quadrillion worth of reserves printed up in our treasury. We're rich because they know it's worthless. That's why they hold gold. They hold Bitcoin. They hold oil. They hold the shit they can't print. Why are you valuing the shit they print? I'm just saying, folks. All right, I have been here for an hour. I got shit to do. Everyone, look, if you're interested in earning, not buying, earning more Bitcoin with our mining program, give us a call, 941-413-6920. 692, yeah. Let me say that again. I'm going so fast, Red Bull. 941-413-6920. It's scrolling across right down here, right there. Give us a call and learn how we can help you get some more Bitcoin. Not buy it, earn it. Everyone, have a great day. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning with my partner in crime, Patrick, the man who never dies. He's 197 years old now, guys. And he doesn't look a day over 180. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow for another awesome show. Everyone, have a great day. I love you guys. And remember, fuck the Fed. Just saying.
Hey, Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club members, are you ready to take your crypto game to the next level? Well, buckle up because we've got something huge for you. As a member of the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you're already part of the future of finance. But what if you could stack even more Bitcoin without waiting? That's right. We're talking about exclusive loans designed just for you. Through the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you can apply for a fast, member-only loan. Use the cash to buy Bitcoin right now while the market's hot, and watch your stack grow as the revolution unfolds. It's simple. Call us, get approved, and turn that loan into Bitcoin. Pay it back on your terms while you HODL like a pro. Why wait for the moon when you can fuel the rocket yourself? This isn't just a loan, it's your ticket to owning more of the future. And because you're part of our tight-knit community, you get VIP access to rates and support outsiders can only dream of. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your phone and call or text 941-413-6920 to apply now and start stacking SATs today. The Bitcoin revolution waits for no one, especially not you. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where members don't just HODL, we build. See you on the blockchain.